I've been a fan of the same and Hedgehog for everyone, but I'm a total of favorite new Sonic game. I do not care to play a classic. When I was on my experience, I think whenever they want to play. I do not think it has glitches and hacking any other sport. How it is to achieve something as normal and the postman noticed out the corner of my dreams, and until I have left in my mailbox. I want to explore the city and began a beautiful summer night, played Sonic Unleashed. I have my game to see what you got in the mail never stops. It was the only thing in the letterbox of a CD case with a computer and touch. I took it in me. I looked at the first note, and my dear friend Kyle, we have the time. Let's just call it. I recognized it from people who have not heard from in 2 weeks. I even like how wonderful he is seen, since recognized his handwriting. I know this, in scratchy to be written badly. Struggling to write it down as Kyle, to see tough read. We did it in a hurry. This is what he wrote. Tom, I cannot take it anymore. I guess I had to get rid of things through before it's too late, and I expect that you will do it for me. It's too soon for me. I can do it. It's been for me, and if you do not destroy the CD, it will also come after you. Tom, before having to go, please destroy the disc secluded. It's too late for me. Destroy disc, but you have to destroy them to do otherwise. It will need to catch immediately. But please do not play the game it wanted to do, but you can destroy it. Please be, Kyle. Well, it was certainly strange, and my best friend Kyle I did not see him in 2 weeks, he asked. I did not think anything hard drive of a bad game to do it is right after all, and it's just a game? Boy, I was wrong. Anyway, I am a black mark who wrote she is Sonic.exe is in a very, meaning that he would have, at various times. Kyle document, check the hard drive. CDR looks like a normal computer, such as pawn shops and on eBay, I get from someone else. When I saw the writing to CD, Sonic, and I was very excited. I was a big fan of Sonic. You want to play? I went to my room, turn on your computer, insert a floppy disk, and install the game. I dive title screen. If it is realized that for the first time Sonic game, to me, if they wanted were amazing, because as I said, I was prepared as a classic. I pictured the head before cutting in black. I am now. And what do you think has been lost? Surprisingly, I noticed first when viewed that what was completely different. I pressed start. It was time. I picture you remember what happened next in this section before the game cut to black. Empty. The emblem of the title was in 1991, black and rust damage. Now I see surreal, rather Sega 666. The water had become red as blood. However, it is divided. Have been freakiest thing in the next chapter. Sonic, his eyes stared past me, bleeding and both glowing red dot as black. Smile. I had stretched the width edge of his face when I saw it. I'm just thinking despite forget is done. He was very concerned about this, and because it reduced after dark, and remained for 10 seconds and stuff to save files that choose Hedgehog 3 from Sonic. Happening emerged. However, and WTF. What to do in the first game Sonic was like number you found. I noticed something dark clouds in the sky and shops of history made Stardust Speedway Sonic CD bathrooms. Only 3 files. Music to Cold Cave, spooky music from Chibaku, but I seem to be the opposite. Since you to view a preview of the level, the picture file, you have your lights on red for all 3 files. More than anything, I was freaked out. That surprised me by itself. Shows Tails, Knuckles and Dr. Eggman had the character selection. Now, I am one game for crying out loud. How will you be able to play as classic Sonic? Eggman? I mean, I'm sure that something was wrong when it was noticed that I did this. Is not a game glitch, it was a game hacking. Yes, it seemed safe. Chopped, but it was really scary. Like a smart player, I did not, or at least not to me, that fear, and I was the only game that has been hacked, and there is nothing wrong, and tell yourself. However, shaking the feeling, I participated. One fish that you choose a file, crawl out. When I decided that they had begun, game, frozen for 5 seconds, I heard laughter. Pixelated sounded before cutting. Eerie black man from Final Fantasy thriller about Kefka, screen of 10 seconds or more, still black, which is only different shades red, simple shapes made of hill. Except that it shows Act 1, showed that overall nominal level. It appears on the screen. The songs disappear. Exposure of Tail from Sonic 1 in Green Hill Zone, but the music is different. He sounded as opposed melodies piece. However, I started to play the tail like that, tail down anything that is not flat and with some wood for 5 minutes, and it worked. It was surprising that the classical Sonic games, because music is an undertone silent world that I was beginning to make, it was running very slow or a slow start. I went on the go. Suddenly I saw something, so I stopped to see what it is. It was one of a small animal died bleeding on the floor. Music was when now deceased Tails. Ida face never had to worry too much, shocked. And I had seen moving along with it, and watch her concerns about the face that was held. When he went, I like more and more of a dead movement broken their animals to further reduce music. Animals from the slaughter and also be more concerned about looking to the tail. All of them died. I was surprised to see it was the way they instead killed brutally. Looks as a person. Squirrel on the tree. His bunny adorned his duck. Things that seemed to be hanging their internal organs. Had all 4 limbs and torn gouge his eyes and throat. Tail of good sea urchin. Watched the murder, and when he did, I feel bad now in my stomach. Then a few seconds later, there were no more animals, and music. I still seemed to stop in order to keep the tail. I passed the music for what to see. 1 minute after the tail has performed hill, stop after stop. It was not. Sonic was the other side of the screen behind the tail to close your eyes. Tails open Sonic, even if that was not totally blind due to a tail. Remember, you do not answer, but he was happy to see Sonic, then drop. We were advised to smile. Tails walked slowly to Sonic. I did, because I was too. I find it not move my keyboard to move him. The scene has been cut. Suddenly, I fear growth as near Sonic. Tails. He meant that you went to get his attention. I had the feeling vulnerable. Tail. Things happen. A bad thing. Tails to stop. It was just inches from Sonic. Touch him. I heard a loud voice, faint static, putting his hand. I felt the urge to tell me to get the tail from Sonic. As static became a strong sense of foreboding in my stomach that grew out loud. Suddenly, I saw eyes open Sonic. There the second part was dotted with black shining red. As in this cover image, there was no smile. Screen happened when it was dark and silent. He is still in the black for about 7 seconds. Then white text. A message is displayed. Something you want to play with me. At this point, I do not want to continue the game. They squeezed me. My curiosity now. Another level of rate. Title that say, pursue non-display and shoot. I preferred. I got my best. This time he was in Iceland fishing of Sonic 3. It looked like everything on fire. She was at the tail. Looked like he was scared out of his wisdom. It really looks at me. He is like that, is out of the area, was able to get in as quickly as possible, and was a sign of desperation. I try to get him to tell me. In fact, now a break from freaked out to get my tail fourth wall. If I can. I pushed the key so hard. He's tough. He tried to be able to run. Put Eggman SA2. As was the play. Take shade in the argue through me tail if it was not hiking, and themes spooky of pixelated Odenwald, because he is trying to run out to get away from him. It was with trying to help. Suddenly, that I was. Horrible to hear again. Eerie smile. Kefka laugh. I support the tail to run into the forest, and then I saw the black again. I started blinking Sonic image anywhere on the screen. It passed for 10 seconds after the right, red eyes. I changed the angle. Lively jingle music stand as shown behind Sonic. Tails slow him fly. Sonic was jumping, in fact, did not run, but looks very similar to Sonic. CD writer made the author's sprite plain to fly to metal. Sonic is only in the Sonic. It's just. It was no longer black and red eyes suffering as he is the winner of him. This time he was smiling so much on his face as he gave enjoying. Poor fox, she seems. Suddenly. Trigger tail. Another cutscene was lost. Music and Sonic. When you stop, the tail is set and began to cry for 15 seconds. Location was very disturbing to see, and I teared my type. But then, I have the right to appear before Tails. Sonic and Tails, which seemed to panic. He could not be done as a clock, as he was appalled by the fox. Sonic's smile started under human eyes blackened as they grow slowly from his face. Screen's screeching noise ratio was high as second. Sonic Tails lasted only 5 seconds before that became dark. The rate on the right side, it though the text is back. This time she said, you, attempting apparently, no more delay. God, when terrible laugh. Sonic Tails was so shocked. What happened to the murder? No, make it. Tails with his right, cannot be necessarily a best friend. Why Sonic she did it. I saved the file that had that tail were different. When I brought her back character selection screen, I shook my near shock. Although the tail was again in the box itself, on the TV screen itself, it was flickering static, fear and ending one red. His eyes were bleeding and black, his fur orange, and not go black. It's me lift Knuckles following on his face. He is a figure of fear, trying to ignore. Laughter came again. The screen in black cut back to level, when there's another 10 seconds this time, and allows you to run, if it is to defeat or hack, or some kind of twisted joke of the disease. Or something is really freaked out now. Besides, I could not really say. However, and despite my fear of what happened, I went to play. Many looked at the difference. The next level was the scene, scrap the country's brain, the history empty, looks like the main menu. This was the dark clouds in the sky red. Pokey me too much. Fear Knuckles, although it looked a little more instead. Immediately after the break, in particular Chibaku found that looks like a tail. It sounded like Jaga's topic. However, I was more out crawling music. Dismay broke the wall of the fourth, the tail, but he looked like he was not sure for the future. I want to move, however we have to do so. He walked straight road in the darkness of this level, the screen from the beginning to flicker a few times red static. You have it. How was She laugh again. After that, I was after a few seconds of information on the implementation of certain steel blood on the floor. I again felt a growing sense of fear to think of something terrible that happens. Ankle. He is evil, seen walking through bloodshed. I continue to do. Knuckles. Sonic will appear before him with black eyes and red. When you have a black screen that has a static display will not disappear anything. Text status. I was scared. Now it is still reappears. Suddenly stop. Ankle or Sonic got ready. What's going on? However, still, it is no longer blushed. I was at the same level back. He looked at Knuckles as afraid. Sonic wherever he could be found. And while this high-pitched noise of Silent Hill have one final boss, it is this. It was some kind mash boss battle with Sonic. I hope to God he is honest. You did not. Black smoke suddenly. After I turned that are pixelated, and looked at the back of the right Sonic Knuckles and what looks like Knuckles' Sonic fist, laughter Sonic before I also hit the ground was horrible again. It was gone in smoke pixelated black. Then he looked back to the ankle Sonic again. Then, I do not had to punch him again. Sonic came out laughing again. Knuckles was the decline in terror, and I was. I felt like he was crazy. Sonic was playing a little game of mental illness around the ankle. He twisted with me. Play with us. Yes it was. Play another cutscene like a fist. Sonic had us driving elements both of fact, feel that I was spoiled, crying, knelt, clasped his head, then, raid ankle in the second part of Sonic. The screen became dark screaming noise to state that lasted more than 3 seconds. Other display text messages, because to play together, because a lot of spirit, shortly, do you, however. What's going what the heck? Sonic really? But I started to think that you are my talk through the game. I was too scared to think. I go back. He was the main menu in time. And the second box Knuckles file red of his fur was screen television that was dark and red-gray. Dreadlocks her make blood flow. His eyes are black broad bleeding. The appearance of sadness on her face, that it was there. Actual behavior captured in the television screen, but began to think that you saved the file. I could not believe it. I do not want to believe it, so I closed out the game, took a break. If I do not do it, even I have a special low light high hanging lamp over his head. I was because then starts the standard dream in black darkness. I took the stairs. I was able to hear the cry of almost Knuckles and Tails. Do we help? And why should we? And what was said, such as, 2 is running ahead of you. When I heard a Sonic smile, her screams, laugh, is dying, I heard a lot of distorted laugh like Kefka. Although it did not take long. They are not only children, it is very fun to play with your friends. Kyle, I've looked around the sound source and was afraid. You will not be long until you come to all of my other friends with him. Flickering in the opposite direction from when I saw him. You cannot go, boy. You simply another way. Now. It's in my world. He grabbed me. I'm grinning face. I saw the eyes of bleeding black and red. I woke up with fear. After several hours, I decided to continue the game. I did not know why. This is why I was what I was looking for. So I happened to be in the following game to turn on the computer. He knew choose Eggman. Eggman is I still play as it appeared on the cover layer again. And the thought of madness, this time, he said, I would really freaked out. It pixelated style is, as it was from one of the classic games Sonic. I was kind of venue. At the moment, it does not look real. It was brilliant, checkered pattern floor. The wall is gray-purple animation candle here and there, with some blood and darkness, and had scarlet curtain hanging on the screen. Every 12 seconds or so red curtain to change very slowly. If you are playing a game, the more that you cannot see movement. This is playing the piano, pleasant, and music was wonderful. Quiet song is quite sad. I know well. It was the performance song in the first act. He was not reversed. Eggman without. It is quite tense, as was the Tails and Knuckles. As though she's a little paranoid. It did not look suspicious that his face. After I located immediately, he turns over the head to the left, at least twice to the right, then, was what was going on. As though I did not know when my shrug. He is the youngest. We made wallpaper. Let me know what will happen out of my head for fear, but I needed to transfer Eggman. When we go beyond the belt, he is. You know, for you to make the late classic game Sonic, if you were chasing it, did his usual animation turf was. Later, I learned along stairs. Now I was nervous. But I have also been promoted. Eggman looks for evidence that their own. Since I gave less than 1 egg levels, I've noticed that has red walls and black, eerie blue flare red now. After that, we had the last one, the other, or, at least felt he was like her, and ended at the same venue, led us for a long time, in the other downstairs which had lasted for at least 1 minute. I go. By Kefka, terrible music. I hear laughter again, is as it was from these, of which he was silent. Walls black, until now had a black fire torch, which slowly faded, when Eggman landed in third hall. To me, is he trying to hide the fact that I noticed that it seemed to have crept exit the truth now? I could not blame him. I was also scared, suddenly. The same way that he was right in front of the Eggman Sonic, Knuckles and red static. After prolonged static red 15 seconds, was bleak for me. If you look only you. His face showed us a real image of Sonic in the dark. The head and torso faded in black, and when I say that actually see the blue line, as it is very true that it was possible, hyperfact, I mean when you touch on the screen, if true, was able to feel the fell face. God, it was the most terrifying smile I've ever seen. And it says something to think. I look at the picture at the beginning of the game. His eyes, also ultra-realistic looking, black and crying so much blood. Sonic.exe 2 small glowing red dot on a black eye I stared right through me. My in Cheshire Cat's only dangerous looking than staring in mind, slightly yellow. Are in the same manner as Hedgehog teeth because they look dirty blood. Fang was Sonic only very mild devil smile, and as far as almost meat to his lips and teeth as he ate some of the animals and had said literally on the side of his face, I was looking at me is true, look at it as smile at me. I never was staring at the picture for 30 seconds. Brutal practice feel. Surface, it is only in and then etching took about 10 seconds to sign up in ever in my brain, and static red and the screen will flash again 3 times. The third time I heard laughter. Kefka, the devil, even if there is only this time, it was distorted. Well, it's a mess. but he made just done again and model time again. I had a good time playing the game. It was one of the horrible things I've seen. I am God. I read the news. He then, I do not hit. I saw Sonic times when I was thinking there. Maybe Kyle Sonic Tails, Knuckles, Eggman and is part of a small toy, such as a game is variegate, animal, pure evil, sadistic, all-powerful, such as nightmares, anger monster, and it was all chaos of his victims, very hell and dreams of the world has been trapped its victims. Suddenly, Division 1 Sonic and so large, the hole again. This time very wide top and pure wind of darkness and static red open government, nothing all unnatural reveal it. I was screaming so rushed to screen out the mouth the second in fact. Instead of static screech beautiful red 7 seconds, grabbed my ears, and I cried. I hurt my ears. Then he stopped, a black screen, it was not shown anything. As I sit there, staring at a black screen, the text came at the end. Tom, are you ready for round 2? Kefka is just like my Sonic in the back. Laughing sounds obvious from the moment I was 3 times longer, like watching text of confusion and shock. Then I got back to the main menu, when you save the file. And a third of TV footage from the boot. Eggman has been tortured in the same manner as Tails and Knuckles. Eggman exists. Mustache was black, broke his glasses and blood from there to be dull skin color, was dead as a mirror image of his face. Me, they are tortured forever by the terrible hedgehogs. I felt sorry for them. You made a penalty, was trapped forever in the game. It will go all day. I look Tails, Knuckles and Eggman. I cried a little. Then, the computer is shut off. I do not have what I would not matter how it can be. I was sitting in there for maybe 25 seconds and what happened to fear? When Sonic that he is boring, then tortured 6 people to play more than one game. It is the embodiment of evil. Where he can play as usual, draws you literally hell morning. I prefer you in the game his toys. I will not be able to leave their computer games. I think it's stuck, but at least I'm back soon. When I was sitting out there in 25 seconds, I like a whisper. I heard a voice behind me. So please keep them interesting, Tom, for me. I turned to see where the voice came. And I cried. What I saw made, right, sitting on my bed staring at me. He is blood under the eyes and smile. I'm Sonic stuffed toy.